episode of Retro Rewind is brought to you by Nintendo Dads and Patreon supporters like you. Ha ha ha! On this episode, we discuss our experience playing through Wario Land 2. Interestingly enough, it was the last first-party game for the original Game Boy. So speaking of really cool music, Zach, what do you got for us?
Hang on, you know what? I'm going to pause this. We're going to start. I'm just going to edit this out. I'm going to have different music.
Actually, I might redo the whole thing again.
You wanted to? I was sitting here laughing because I was like, why is Wario like Irish?
I know, right?
It's like a Wario mixed with the Lucky Charms.
It's a me.
They're always after my Mario fart.
We'll
it's like there's some strong bad in there too for some reason.
We'll re-record it. It'll be whatever it is, and then we can pick on it when it on, and that might help us with time as well.
Yeah, and then of course we can also. That's totally our bumper right there, or our stinger at the end. Okay.
Ready?
I'm just gonna start a new track so that I can save that.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, we're good.
This episode of Retro Rewind is brought... Oh, damn it. We'll start again. 3, 2, 1. It's me, Wario. This episode of Retro Rewind is brought to you by Nintendo Dad's Patreon supporters, just like you. On this episode, we discuss our experience playing Wario Land 2, the last first-party game for the original Game Boy. Was it because it was so bad they stopped making the games? I don't know. Let's find out. Zach, cue the music.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Retro Rewind, brought to you by Nintendo Dads over at VGTribute.com. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is February 3rd, 2016. Almost February 4th, but that's okay. We do this, people, because we love you. Again, my name is Zach Erickson, and joining me tonight for some wonderful discussion about Wario Land 2, Justin Masson. What's going on tonight, Justin?
It's me, Wario. Ha 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 ha.
Very nice. Joining us as well is Jesse Waldeck from VGTribune.com. What's going on, Jesse?
I think he's just trying to kill his voice. We doesn't have to talk much, talk for very long.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, I'm actually starting to fight through a bit of a strep throat. So, not gonna lie, the Wario doesn't really help. But you know what though? I do it. I do it all for you, the fans, the Patreon supporters, because you're really what makes this go. You're really what just warms the cockles of our hearts. Speaking of warm cockled hearts, Zach.
Yeah, dude. So this is, of course, this is brought to you by Patreon people. This wouldn't happen without Patreon supporters. So thank you guys. This is a celebration of stuff for you, and of course, this was chosen by the fans, by the Patreon supporters. So that's awesome. And Wario Land 2. Justin, what do we know about Wario Land 2? By the way, this music coming straight from ocremix.org. It's called Syrup's Secret Stash.
Yeah. So Wario Land 2, a couple little pieces of information we can pull out here. Wario Land 2 is just commonly just referred to here as Wario Land 2, but it's actually Wario Land 2, The Stolen Treasure. So that's interestingly enough. And it was actually released on the Game Boy back in 1998. And as I mentioned in the introduction coming into it, it was actually the very last first-party title made for the Game Boy. And then it was remade later to take advantage of the Game Boy Color hardware. So they actually did kind of re-release it in the Game Boy Color. And interestingly enough, that was actually only about a year later. And actually, let's see here, North America, the Game Boy was March 1st, 1998. North America Game Boy Color was actually February 10th, 1999. So less than a year later, they re-released Wario Land 2 in color. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, wow, I just paid for this less than a year ago, and now you give me this different version. But
Right.
Yeah, and then actually speaking of kind of like re-releasing it, it was actually re-released. It was released again. There we go. On the 3DS Virtual Console back in 2012. So it was kind of off on hiatus for about 13 years. So those are kind of just kind of some of the pieces around it. Yeah. So I don't know. That was
It's interesting. Like, and like as we get into this, I think it's interesting to maybe talk about what our thoughts are about Wario in general. Right? Like the first time we kind of talked in the pre-show that my first experience with Wario, a lot of people talk about, their definitive Mario, like what is when you think about Mario in your childhood, what do you think about? And I like 110% Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins was the quintessential Mario game of my childhood.
right.
Which is the first game that Wario was ever in, right?
Yep.
And so for me, like to see Wario, I've always had this love-hate relationship with Wario because that like he was introduced as sort of like a Mario doppelganger, right? He was the totally like everything that Mario is not, right? And he was this really kind of quirky villain. And then to see him brought in as a hero, I've always felt like, oh, that's a little bit weird. I don't know, like I've always kind of had this weird love-hate relationship with Wario because when I was first introduced to him, that he was the villain.
Yeah, he definitely, him and Waluigi definitely play this kind of very weird role in the kind of extended Mario family, into exactly what they do. And you're absolutely right, Zach. And I was thinking back of what my first experience with Wario was. You are absolutely right. It was in Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. And again, I remember playing that, and the first time looking at Wario like on the screen, I was like, oh, it's just a uglier, fatter Mario. Like
Like they literally have the thing like at the end of that game where the coin on Mario's castle just spins around and then the M becomes a W and whatever, right? Like that's literally where Wario's name came from too,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just kind of saying like that was where I remember him from. So I think this was a game or an example of where he actually transitioned from being the villain obviously to being a more playable character and more of a playable role in kind of that, I guess, I don't know, anti-hero kind of mentality that is Wario, right? His actions are never, when you think about his actions, are never driven by like the greater good, right, or someone else's intention or desire, right? It's not to rescue Princess Peach. It's not to save the kingdom, or if it is to save the kingdom, it is because it benefits him exponentially, right? He's a character who is based on himself and his own self-centeredness and greed, which is very contradictory to where you see someone like a Mario or Luigi who are selfless acts of let's save the princess or save the Toad Kingdom. So I think he's a very interesting character, and I think we'll probably talk about him more as well. Jesse, speaking of divisive characters, Jesse Waldack, what's going on, buddy? How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually never, growing up, I never played the Mario Land 2. I never played any Wario Land game. Like I knew of him, because I remember the commercials when 6 Golden Coins was new, and Wario was right down front and center in those commercials. But I think the first game I ever played that had, not including the sports game where everyone was in it, I think the first game I ever played that had Wario as a character was the micro mini games. What are those called?
Like Mario and
WarioWare? Wario.
Oh, WarioWare, sure.
WarioWare. Yeah, it was. I think I don't remember if I played Twisted or Touched first, but I got them both kind of near the same time. And I got a kick out of that series and the characters in that universe. But then later on the Wii, when the Wario Land for the Wii game came out, I rented it and I'm like, I'm not really a fan of this.
Yeah, so you were
Excuse me.
yeah, so like as far as like how we felt about this game, then it's interesting going into this because Mario platformers are very much like you jump and it's kind of not floaty, but there's a sort of light, there's a skip in his step, right? Like he's very kind of not bouncy either, but he's kind of jumps. There's it feels really good to play a Mario platformer. There's a certain feel there, and when I started playing this game, he's really
Heavy.
he's very heavy, right? Like, and we had kind of even talked about like the Game Boy Metroid game, right, where she takes up a ton of space on the screen. Wario's kind of like that too, where he takes up a more than Mario does for sure in something like Six Golden Coins.
Yeah,
But I,
his sprite was almost twice the size.
right, and even in the original game, that was the case too, right? Like in Six Golden Coins, it
Right,
was.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, he was. And so like even they kind of continued to do that in this game. And I don't know, he's very heavy, but there's also like he has his charge attack that if you do the charge and then jump, like you actually have quite a bit of momentum that you can get going there. I don't know, I thought it was interesting. The more I played it, the more I actually started to really enjoy it, for being different, and kind of learning those controls a little bit more, I guess. So
Yeah, I found the controls were probably one of the areas that I struggled with, and I think this was it just I think the point it felt heavier. It didn't feel as tight or almost too tight. The controls felt, and I was definitely challenged with this one. And I think this is I think going back to your point, Zach, it's because playing Mario games in the past, you're used to a certain thing, right? You're used to the physics of the game, and this one it just didn't feel that way. It felt very sluggish. It felt very heavy. It felt very um, not as responsive as I would have liked it to be.
mm,
I was challenged by that at times. And I also had challenges sometimes just with just the button configurations every once in a while. So
mhm. Yeah, and I think I'm even just kind of holding it right now, just kind of messing with the controls too as I'm kind of thinking about it. They're definitely like the platforming levels. Another interesting decision is in this game, Wario can't die, right? You
yeah,
die in this, and so like yes, you will lose your coins, and that's fine, but you're not going to die, and so sometimes that almost felt worse in a way, like just let me die, like put me out of my misery right now,
Well, that
because
that's
I
kind
get
of
stuck in a level and you think, am I even in the right place right now? Like it'd be nice to just start this level over and maybe come at it with a new set of eyes.
yeah,
I don't know.
that's kind of how this series handles different obstacles. When I first heard that Wario gets hit by certain creatures, and then something different happens to him. Like he could be wobbly, he could be really flat and floaty, and then
Right.
you had to do something specific to undo it. And my first thought was, oh, so if I'm careful, I can probably avoid getting hit, and I can just proceed like normal. But you know, the the worlds are built that you have to use those abilities to get past some obstacles, and that's the part I'm like, I really don't like this.
Like well like what I'm thinking right now, like I'm literally at a part right now in this game where I have to throw an enemy, and that does not feel good at all. Like anytime you have to pick up an enemy and
Yeah,
throw it,
I didn't
it's
even
like
know you can do that. I got like one of the I think it was like World 1-3. I got stuck in an area where I couldn't get past this white blobby monster. And
yeah.
I had to fact that to figure out. Oh, I can pick up stuff and throw it. Really?
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, there's times like that where it's like, okay, or even like here is a block, that has a little fire on it, right? And it's like you have to go let them light you on fire, and then wait until you're a smoldering corpse, and then walk over, and it will let you through, which I think is an interesting choice for that, right? That like, no, this is like basically again like the idea that Wario is sort of the mirror image of Wario, right? Like they're mirror images. they kind of do that in the gameplay as well, where he's very much like, yeah, you know, you usually you do not want to get hurt at all, but no, this time, yeah, you actually do have to go and get and get lit on fire, and you know, and that's part of the progression of this game. I think that's I admire it. um I think that this game just doesn't age as well as some of the other ones, because this game got like pretty great, like clinically acclaimed, critically acclaimed. uh right,
What type of clinic is this thing going to?
yeah, I don't know. But you know, it was critically acclaimed, but I just don't think it ages as well as some of the Mario stuff does. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, I don't think it does. I really don't think it ages as well. Um, I, I I'll be honest. I didn't have a really great time playing it. I kind of felt like I was really slogging through it. I felt like there were some fundamental game design issues, and I know that like it got critical acclaim. And again, just because a game gets critical acclaim doesn't necessarily mean it scratches your itch, right? But I mean, like there are areas where you see the coins, you know, in the wall, so you know you just have to hit a spot in the wall and there's the coins, right? Like the secrets and the discovery of video games, I felt were very much already pathed and mapped and written for you. And so it just didn't like when you think about replayability, like I didn't feel like I was super interested in replaying it or coming back to it. And the other challenges I had is that some levels were really I was really just unclear what I needed to do to complete the level. And I think of things like level World 2, level 1 where you had to find a chicken and run it back to its hen house at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right? Like I was like what am I doing here? Like what I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused because I mean it wasn't your standard like track through the game, you know, find the exit, you're done kind of, you know, usual methodology of a game. So that was a little bit confusing. It wasn't very clear. The things I did kind of like about it, it sounds really funny. It reminded me in certain levels of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. And
Played that.
what I mean by that is there are levels in certain areas where, like, for example, at the water, the tap in his house in the castle, you have to turn off. It's extra large, right? And it just very much reminded me of like the game where when you're Chip and Dale and the Rescue Rangers, like everything's bigger. And it like when I saw that scene in the moment, I was like, oh, like it kind of brought me back to this moment of like when I played games, and I was like, this is kind of cool actually. And then it was quickly disappeared.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. Well, like it's I don't know. Like I feel like I liked it maybe more than you guys did, but I wasn't crazy about it either. And I'm wondering how much of that is like with so much of the virtual console stuff. I think a lot of it is very much bound by nostalgia on how much you're going to enjoy it. Like I have tried, you know, for example, I have tried consistently to try to go back to a bunch of NES games that I didn't play when they were, you know, when they were new. And I have like with a few exceptions, like Punch Out, I have gone back and played that, and I actually did really enjoy it. But a lot of the games, I have a hard time finding the enjoyment in them, and I'm wondering if that's part of it. Like without the nostalgia, is this game as good? You know, that kind of an idea. But I'm gonna see if this is gonna play for me. This maybe no maybe. Oh, I found some music. What do you guys think of the music in this game? It's you still there?
Yeah, I'll let you. I'll kind of wait for it to finish when you hear it.
Okay. I thought it was going to be shorter than that. Anyways, go ahead.
I find again, it's that counterpoint. I mean, Wario is a counterpoint to Mario, right? Mario's music is a bit more lofty, is a bit more charming, is a little bit softer, a little bit more poppy, right? Where this feels like we've got a little bit harder, like guitar riffs or like a little bit more electronic, and so it kind of already feels like, yeah, this isn't your Mario game. This is your Wario game, right? Like it kind of feels like that, you know, darker kind of characterization that they're trying to create with it. So I think that you definitely see that in the music that's being provided to the game as well.
Mm-hmm. I think too, another thing that I noticed about the level design is everything felt, what's the word, claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything. It felt like the camera was tight.
like, and not only that, but like very low roofs, and like it was just a bunch of long hallways. You know what I mean? Like it was like low roof or low ceiling, I should say, low ceiling, long hallways, a lot of like going in and out of doors.
Yep.
That kind of broke up the flow of the gameplay too. Where I was like, oh, like whereas in a Mario game, again, it's more, here's a big long level that you can run through, and very rarely you may go down a pipe or something like that, but you don't really have this same thing where you're going in and out of doors that and having these very short segments to kind of jump from place to place to place to. And it made it more, I don't know, the whole thing felt heavier and not as lighthearted and just sort of, you know, it didn't flow as well, the platforming for sure. So right on, let's head into some of the other stuff we have here. So the story, which of course there's never really a good story like any other Wario story.
Yeah,
Somebody
I mean,
on his treasure.
Yeah, it's pretty relatively
What did you think of the villain
of Captain Syrup?
I kind of do like like, I'm looking online, like if you look up Captain Syrup, you make sure you have your safe search on, by the way. If you look up Captain Syrup, even if you do say Captain Syrup Wario, just still safe search it, people. Pro tip. I do like the character design. Like, it actually reminded me, I had never seen this character before, which is kind of surprising, but it really reminded me of the most recent Shantae game on 3DS.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Like, holy cow, that is that's surprising how similar they are. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting. I liked the character, actually. I thought it was like, this is obviously a first step into, you know, an introduction of Captain Syrup, but the idea of like this, you know, this sort of roguish pirate captain, you know, like she's interesting. I wish that we'd see her more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't ever see her again, do we? After like any other games?
I don't know. Yeah, let me just see what else we got here. So she's in Wario Land, Wario Land 2, and Wario Land Shake It. So is that the Wii one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so she does return on the Wii one. But
I apparently
but I mean,
have never gotten
definitely
that far enough into any of these games to get to even know she existed.
But definitely not added into the, you know, the repertoire and family that is the Mario family, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the plot was again pretty thin. I mean, again, it's
it is what it is, right?
Captain Syrup returns one morning. She and a few of her soldiers, the pirate gooms, basically sneak into Wario's castle, cause some havoc. Steal his treasure, set off a giant alarm clock, and leave a tap running that floods his castle.
I do love. I actually really do like the like. I both love and hate the introduction to this game. Like, when I started playing it and it just kept going, this like opening cinematic, I was like, oh, this is not a good sign. Like, I'm enjoying this, but it also is going on for a long time. I do love this game's equivalent of Goombas, like these little weird minion things. Like, they almost are like Minions before Minions ever existed. You know what I mean? They're like a cross between Minions and Goombas, and like the little cronies. I thought were actually pretty cool, like a pretty good design there. I did like them as well, but
yeah, I like the little like hats they've got going on, and
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's you know, Justin, you had you once again with Cast Lush. It did a pretty awesome intro there. Any other tidbits of information we can pull from that as far as information goes there?
As bad as it sounds, not really. Like, it was pretty stationary. There wasn't a whole lot of additional content. You know, I think the reception it received was relatively good, which I thought was kind of shocking. But that's
we're just crapping all over this game. It's like, yeah, this game, guys.
Like, IGN, what do you think? Like, it's not. I guess here's the thing: is if I can see why some people would like it. I just didn't find the experience that enjoyable. I really didn't. I found it very not the game was too challenging, but the controls, like, it felt
It was the controls, wasn't it? It
Yeah,
was
like
the clunkiness of and the heaviness of
yeah.
it.
You know what? Actually, there is actually something I do want to mention. In the video that I did for Kaz, that the localization changed some things, and
Oh,
in
right, yeah, like the bombs or whatever, right?
yeah, so in the local, so there's a case in I think it's like World Two where the penguin throws you a bomb, or it's what looks like his bomb, and all of a sudden you kind of like you get hit with it. And again, Jesse's point, you don't die, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna lose coins. But all of a sudden he kind of looks like he's purple, he's kind of shaking, he's walking funny. There's like bubbles coming out of his mouth, and you're like, this is kind of weird. And what I did kind of like about that is it doesn't just like wear off within 3 or 5 seconds,
Yeah,
right?
you gotta find the water.
Yeah, you have to find the water, it washes off. Well, I guess in the original game in Japan, that was actually beer that was being thrown at him.
Which
And he
is
drinks the beer and he becomes drunk. And he has to basically sober himself up. So that was changed on the localization when it came over to North America. So I thought that's kind of an interesting thing for localization.
mhm.
I'm trying to think what else really kind of
Which is funny, like because the whole idea of Wario is like this is when they started going this direction of like, no, he's just ridiculous. Like we're taking this idea of, you know, like the Bizarro Mario,
yeah.
like
That's a really good way of looking at it, Bizarro. Yeah.
right, and like we're gonna take this like anything that Mario would not do, Wario will do. So like nowadays you see it in like farting and you know that kind of thing, but like to see this early on of like yeah, like we lit him on fire and like he's drunk all the time and like to the point where the localization actually had to be like guys we got to tone this down, like we actually crossed the line here.
Yeah.
This is not going to work for kids. So in fact they call him Crazy Wario in the in the localized version, which in Japanese they called him Drunk Wario. So I think that's pretty funny. Imagine a world where they actually went all the way and just like Wario was actually a drunkard. That'd be pretty awesome. I kind of wish they would do that. Anyway, just like Wario boozing it up. I don't know. Right on. So, so what is it about this? I wonder, guys, like, what is it about this game? If they were to do a Wario game today, how would you like take? What would you take from this game that is awesome? That you'd be like, yes, let's take this and explore it some more. What would you leave behind? You know, what is it about this game that you, if we were to make a Wario, like a new Wario platformer on 3DS, let's say, 2D platformer, not that we need any more 2D platformers, but what in this game do you think you would keep and what do you think you would you know leave behind? Jesse, what do you think? Jesse, hello.
I had to unmute because I'm dying over here on my side of the mic. So and I don't think anyone over there wants to hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I really don't have an answer. This is just one of those.
Just leave it entirely. You just
Yeah.
leave it in the dumpster.
The entire franchise, I have not enjoyed, and so I'm not even sure what. I don't even know what I would change to maybe improve it.
Okay.
I've played so little of this because I just can't get into it.
Okay, Justin, what about you?
You know what? I would spin it a little bit. So here's a couple things that I would do. I would take the approach that Bowser has one of two approaches. I would take the approach that either Bowser has like kidnapped Mario, and because Wario and Mario have such as conflict that like no one can really, be Mario's villain or antagonist other than Wario. So he basically has to go rescue Mario from Bowser. So I'd introduce Bowser into the series. But then I would kind of make it a little bit more Mario-esque. So I'd have a bit more of an overview map usage throughout the game. I would make it much more like the levels are darker, So they're a little bit more focused around like the castle levels in Mario, or the airship levels, a little bit more kind of on the enemy side of it. I would also pull the camera out instead of being as tight as it is, and I'd actually bring it in outdoors as opposed to being indoors.
Yeah.
Because I think that roof limited a lot of things. So I'd pull that up. Um, I would actually get rid of the Wario Land villains that you see here and stick stock to the Mario canon and genre. So let's bring back Koopas, let's bring back Toads, let's bring back those staples. And I mean, you can't really, I guess, get upset with them because they're trying to basically monopolize as much as they can by creating a new character, new genre, new enemies. But I would kind of replace it back in the Mario franchise with the Mario spin on it, open it up, and um, I would alter. So instead of like Tanuki suits or frog suits or the magic mushrooms, those would be like the running, bashing through walls trick and stuff like that. Right?
Mm.
Like those would be the features as opposed to like that's just your stock thing. So your typical movement, your A, B, your up, down, that kind of stuff. Your typical movement is regular Mario. But when you need to smash through that wall, I don't know, you hit a mushroom and it becomes a, I don't know, shoulder check or something. That's so I would kind of, it sounds bad. I would Marioize Wario,
Mm-hmm.
but I would still allow Wario his individualism to do that. I would just kind of more integrate it and more weave it through into the tapestry that is the Mario series, because it's always felt like Wario and Waluigi are just these like tertiary, like, oh, we need another character for Mario Party because we've only got four. So we should make up someone and let's just add them. Like they're like I don't even call them the B squad, right? Like it is very rare when someone's like, "Hey, what's your favorite character?" "Oh, Wario." Shut up. Right? Like get out of here.
You freaking like hipster.
Yeah. I liked Wario before it was cool like Wario.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you bearded weirdo. Um So for all you hipsters, send your complaints to @masson23 at Gmail or on Twitter.
Nice.
Um, so I think that's what I would try and do because I just think over time, Wario has become more woven into that tapestry. But I think like and maybe it's the point of like when looking at where we are now with Wario to where it could be. But I think that's really what it needs to do a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thoughts on that? I just kind of
I
mapped
think
out a
yeah, like
gameplay.
I'm thinking I do like the idea that there are different kinds of Wario, and that they are like the idea that they are these different states that Wario is in are triggered by interacting with enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So whether it's getting squashed by the, whatever getting squashed or getting lit on fire, or things like that. I do like that. I think that's something that sets Wario apart from Mario, that it's not, hey, I got this power up, but some enemy actually did something bad to me and now that is to my advantage. I think that's a cool concept that you could tie a Wario game around.
Sure.
The problem in this game was that it killed the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
That any time that you had to do that, you were slowed down, right? Whether it was you were squashed, or you were lit on fire, or you were turned into a bubble, or in every single case, it slowed you down. And I think that's what really killed it for me. And so to have this, I think I would really just speed it up a little bit. Like you could still have Wario be this big heavy guy, but have him be heavy but also fast, right? Like he does have that charge, but it always felt like it wasn't scary. And it should be this thing where like, holy crap, Wario's coming at you. You should be like, there should be some momentum behind that. And it always felt like as soon as I started getting going, it would just be like like the charge would start, and then and like you wouldn't get very far. And so I think it is the momentum behind Wario, I think, that makes it so like he's lumbering almost in this, and he
Mhm.
should be faster.
And I think that was also the problem, like when you got hit.
Yes.
Like because of that lumbering forward, that momentum, when you got hit, you felt like you just went back,
Well, there was
plus
so much
some.
knockback too, right? Like, and you'd kind of jitter, and yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, kind of the acting up that he's doing with it.
Hmm. But I think they were onto something there. Like, and that's the thing that's so interesting to me is to see these reviews of like 9 out of 10 from IGN. I'm just like, whoa, what game are you playing, man? Like, and I wonder how much.
Like 1998 must have been tough.
Yeah,
Was
like
there nothing
that's
else to play?
and it's interesting too. Like the
That
Game
was
Boy.
N64 era, so right, there wasn't much to play.
Yeah. So right on. I'm just trying to take a look at our notes here.
Got any more music for us, or Zach? Or anything?
I can see if I can find some more music from the game. Let's see if I can find some more stuff from the game here. Let's see. I had it. Where did it go? Oh no, where did I park my car? Oh no. I had it and it disappeared. Hang on. Oh, wait, I found it. See, this makes good radio. This is your money well spent, people. Okay, it's disappeared again. Come on. Come on.
All right. Well, Zach is grabbing.
Found it.
Okay, there you go. See, I just kind of threatened you.
Yeah, there you go. Just threatened my. Okay, so I do have a bunch of music here. What do we got? See, tell me if you. Okay, here's a specific kind of Wario. Tell me what it is. This is the music that plays when it's. Really? I'm listening to this music and I don't even know. I would never get it.
I'm picturing like Farmer Wario. And he's still angry.
This is crazy / drunk Wario. Apparently. All right, how about this one? This one? This does not make sense. This is mini Wario. Apparently. By the way, I'm thinking of something else. Am I the only one who did a save state every time at the end of the level where you had to guess what the number was?
Yeah, actually, I think you were.
I would have it reveal the one, and then it would immediately save state. It would reveal it, and then I just restore it and pick the right number. And
Jeez,
I didn't even think of that.
the glory of save states.
Nice. What did you guys think of that feature at the end?
Of the
whole like guessing the number thing.
it was weird. Like of all the things to have a mini game around, it was like, really, we're just picking a number, and that was a huge gold sink in the game too, right? Like that and some of the other mini games. I was like, oh, that's I don't know.
Those are pretty much the only reason why you need gold.
Yeah, between that and then the finding the treasure in the middle of the level,
which is still a random chance to lose.
Yeah.
I guess kind of in relation to, as we were talking about like finding treasure and stuff. I thought one of the interesting parts is that, there is actually 5 other endings that can actually be unlocked in this game by collecting all the treasure. I thought that was kind of pretty cool for its time back in 1999 or 1998, right? Because you can essentially complete after just 5 levels, correct? As I recall. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's different endings. There's the normal ending. Yeah, I'm looking online here. There's a bunch of different secret endings here. Yeah, that's interesting, and that's I didn't get any. I didn't get any of these secret endings. So
and for them to extensively written 5 different ones, like that's a little developmentally crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right on. I don't know, guys. Do you have anything else? Where this is definitely a shorter show. I hate to make it too short for the listeners at home, given this is what we got for the Patreon thing here. But I don't know if I have much more to say about it. Honestly,
yeah, hopefully everyone else enjoyed playing along with us. Again, one of the things I love about the Retro Rewind, is it is forcing our hand to go back in time and play games that we may or may not have experienced. I never experienced Wario Land 2 before.
I don't know if I ever would have played it, but I
wouldn't have. I definitely would not have. Link's Awakening, possibly yes, but I mean, it's like anytime, like just because we're going back in the archives of Nintendo, it's like it's not all going to be golden. And here's the thing. So for us, this isn't really striking a chord for most of us, right? But somebody in our fans, somebody in our amazing Patreon supporters said, "This is the game I want you to try or play." I'd love to know why. Like, why does this, I'm not trying to be, no, I'm not trying to be,
Ow.
Do you want to know my theory?
I'm not trying, hold on a second. I'm not trying to be the guy who's like, what the hell's wrong with you Patreon folks? But my question is like, if this was the game for you, that was like, this defined my childhood, right? I
Yeah,
was sitting in the back of my car, driving out to British Columbia with my folks. My brother's got his finger in his nose, and I'm playing Wario Land 2, and this is so many memories. Let us know. Like, I'd love to know why this, what, because if there's any games like that, I'd love to hear those memories.
yeah.
Because I think we always look at everything in the past with rose-colored glasses, right? You were talking it earlier, Zach, about how Super Mario Land 2 really defined your
Yeah.
memory of Wario, right? So maybe this is someone's first experience with Wario. Maybe they got a first birthday gift and something like, what the heck is this game? And they really loved it. And like, I'd love to hear that. So, just because we're not giving it nines and tens and think it's the best thing since sliced bread doesn't mean it's still not valuable to someone else in their development as an individual. So I guess I'm encouraging people to know more about it. But I know I would not have gone back and selected Wario Land to play. Like, I wouldn't have been like, oh, I've got $5 in the eShop. What should I pick? Oh, that's the thing I should pick. But I love the fact that we're going back and looking at these games and trying them. And if you really think about it, like, this was, they had a new IP. The new IP was Wario, essentially. They were trying to take a character that was a villain, trying to make it a playable character and create a world around it, right? Through, Captain Syrup and all these kind of things. So it's kind of interesting to see where Nintendo was developmentally with these IPs that are now, almost 20 years later, pretty regular, right? Like, you can go and buy the Wario Land amiibo, or sorry, Wario amiibo, right? Like, these are part of the Nintendo history.
Well, one of the amiibo I don't have, actually.
Okay, this is part of the Nintendo history and lore that, again, 20 years ago, this was a fringe thing. 20, now this is kind of ingrained in the, oh, you're playing Smash, or you're playing Mario Kart, or you're playing, tennis. Do you want to be Wario? Right, and we all know it's the W is the upside down M of Mario, and that he's kind of the evil villainous Mario, right? So just seeing how this fringe idea became culturally in the Mario universe accepted, I think, is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And again, I think again, this is, I don't know. I actually am glad that I played it. It's fun. The more I played it, like, for the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. And the further I got into it, the more I found myself enjoying it. And I think that some of the flaws in the game prevented me from enjoying it as much as I wanted to. But it wasn't a completely terrible experience. I would give it a solid, like, like, I don't know, like a 6.8. I don't know, something like that.
6.8. Not 6.5, not 7. 6.
No, like that, like 6.8 feels right.
Yeah.
Right? Like 6.9 is a little too generous. 7 is too generous, but a 6.8 is where I would put it.
Yeah, I'd probably be supporting those rankings as well.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So,
yeah.
Right on. Jesse, do you have any other thoughts about this game as we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right.
Right on, Jesse.
Right on. So next up, we have our announcement of the next Retro Rewind, which will be released at the beginning of March.
That's correct.
We'll be playing all through February, and that is, Justin?
Super Mario Advance 4. So this just came out.
You got a colon at the end of that.
Do I? Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. There we go. Thank you. That was actually, I'm saying that literally as Zach is typing it. It was.
And in the last show, you said you bought Super Mario Brothers 3 like 5 or 6 times, and here you get to buy it again.
Yeah. So this is the one that's available on the Wii U eShop.
Yep.
Right.
Just came out.
Yeah, just came out. and it is available there, and it has all of the e-reader levels as well on the eShop. And so, yeah, that's something that we can definitely look forward to playing. I'm actually looking forward to it after playing Wario Land 2. We're now going on to the Game Boy version, playing on the Wii U, the Game Boy remake of the NES classic Super Mario Brothers 3. So
Yeah, this is a very very kind of interesting game. And just as an FYI, it's $7.99 in the eShop currently. For those of you, now that may be Canadian potentially. I think it's $7.99 all the way across the board. So
nice.
this is a relatively easy one to pick up as well. So.
Oh man, I'm looking on eBay because I found my Game Boy Advance SP.
Oh really?
Yeah, I found it. Their cartridges run for like $20 Canadian plus plus shipping. Like
So
20 bucks.
you think about maybe picking up an old school one, bringing it in?
I don't know, man. I'm tempted. I don't know if I want to pay like $25 for a cartridge though. But then I have
Zach will then sign it and then donate it out to
no way, dude. If I buy it, I'm keeping it. I might go to the local pawn shop or something, see if they have it. Yeah, because I actually had this game back in the day, and it was, really? And then all of my stuff got sold or whatever, and which was super sad. And now I'm slowly recollecting all of my old games and stuff. But
I actually am disappointed because I will not be playing this game with you guys.
Oh, that's right. Who's because you're going to be over in
the Ireland.
Yeah, which explains your Wario impersonation.
Yeah, you want to spend the entire show talking about a horrible Wario impression?
Yeah, and so so
Marty
who's joining us?
Marty is going to be joining us. Marty Estes from Reactor Radio. He's going to record that episode with you guys as well. Apparently, he's actually already purchased the game, and I believe he's got some hands on it already. So,
dang, man.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We'll also be releasing out not this week, but next Friday. What is that, the 11th or 12th? We'll be releasing our history of Wario Land 2, made by Cass Lush from Nintendo Nuggets, and the Gaming Doc. So we're excited to, it's another great, fantastic job from him. And again, this is because of our amazing Patreon supporters. So we appreciate that.
You're the best. And of course, if you want to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Nintendo Dads, nintendodads@gmail.com. Head over to youtube.com/c/Nintendo Dads. And you can check out all of our live shows and all our videos and such. And of course, if you want to change the world, go over to vgtribune.com. I'm playing some music as we go out. And so stick around and listen to this. This music is from YouTube user M Bolto. We'll have a link in the show notes for that. So for me, for Justin, and for Jesse, we will see all of you guys next month. And take care, won't you? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Ha ha ha. I think I just did something in my throat.
Nice. Cool. All right. Done deal. Oh.
It's easier when it's a game that we really like.
Yeah, like I felt like I was trying to.
Felt like I was working.
It felt like I was. Yeah, we worked for that episode.
But in all fairness, when they pay us, we are working.
Yeah, we earned we definitely had to